What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Racing Dudes Live. And as we promised just about an hour and a half ago, that's right, we're going to help you preview the Pick 6 with that massive ass carryover here at Keeneland. Happy Friday afternoon, morning, wherever you're at to everybody. Aaron, Mike, good to see you guys here. First, before we get into that, we do have 6 minutes to post, so maybe we can increase the bankroll we have for the Pick 6. That starts with race 5. Race 4, mile and the 16th on the dirt, maiden fillies. Aaron, where did you go here?
Yeah, I went with the 7 on top, Forever After All. I thought it was a pretty good sign, Flavian Pratt getting aboard here. I thought the horse would run pretty decent. I'm pretty surprised the 1 is getting bet as hard as she is. I don't hate the 1. I can see that the 1's, obviously has a shot to win the race, but I liked the 7 here, and I like the price. So I'm 7. Let's see, where did I go? 7, 4, 1, 5.
Mike, what about you? You've got fillies 3 and up. They're not restricted 3 or 4, so there's a big difference in the weights here with the horses.
Yeah, there is. I kind of echo Aaron's sentiments. I actually had the 1 on top, but the price here is a little detrimental to wanting to bet the horse to win. You're sitting there at even money. I liked the 7 in second at 5-2. And I thought the 4 was clearly the third best horse sitting on the board at 5-1 right now. This is a hammer type race for me, where I think the best way to attack this is to play a cold exacta or cold trifecta. The fact that the 7's a little bit better of a price than the 1, I kind of like playing the 7-4-1 try cold here and see if you can kind of build it up a little bit going that way. Don't hate the 7-1 exacta, or if you like the 1-7-4 try, I don't hate that either. I think clearly it's a 3-horse race here, though.
You know what, Nick Feldman, I like the 2 in this spot, and part of it's because Jonathan Wong, we saw him come to Keeneland and get a big win with the honorable one on a couple of days ago on the 19th. His horses have been running well at Keeneland, and he's got another one. He had another winner a week ago today with Praise and Honor, using lots of different jockeys. And I brought up that weight difference. This is a 3-year-old filly facing mostly older horses. You got Novice aboard. That's a bug jockey. An additional 10-pound allowance there, Aaron. So she's carrying 108 pounds. Next up is 116 bedtime for Buffy, and then the older horse is all at 126. The 2s, there's not a lot you can point to from her dirt from their dirt performances in the past, but that didn't stop Jonathan Wong from winning races like this before. So did you consider the 2 at all?
Yeah, you're right. The 2 looks a lot like that horse that you mentioned that won last time. Well, maybe not last time, but one of the times we were on the live stream. Yeah, absolutely. No, I didn't consider the 2. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't. But this is definitely a horse that has that kind of form. And so we'll see. I mean, Wong has come in here, and he's been winning, so we'll see what happens. Now, if you've noticed, it's a win or we're way out of here. We're off the board. So we'll see. He's an all-or-nothing type. I don't think I would sit here and go, play that 2 underneath, Magic. But if you want to take a shot to win, I understand. One big difference is, though, horse is 6-1, where that horse the other day was, like 30 or 40 or 20? It was crazy.
Yeah, 28-1, something like that. It's pretty nuts. Mike, did you consider the 2 at all? I know you stepped out for a second, but a big angle for me is the weight difference. She's carrying 108. From there, it's 116, 126. It goes way up.
Yeah, interesting use of the bug here by Jonathan Wong. Getting the 10-pound weight break there to have the apprentice on board. Usually I like that move when you're trying to go gate to wire. It can be a little more difficult when the apprentice is trying to work out a trip, and it doesn't seem like the 2 is going to be able to get the lead here. We may see the 2 try and go because of the apprentice on board, so I'm interested to see what the strategy is on the 2. I looked at the 2. Look, I don't think the 3, the 5, or the 9 have a shot here. They're the 3 longest prices on the board. So if you're trying to work out a trifecta or super, that 2 horse makes a little bit of sense if you want to try and put him underneath. I don't think the 2 can win. Look, Jonathan Wong has been live with everything he's sending. We've seen him move his barn from the West Coast here to Middle America and doing very well so far, 2 for 6 at the meet right now. So I wouldn't completely discount the horse, but to me, the 1, 4, and 7 are a little bit above.
As I mentioned, we will be covering the Pick 6. We'll be previewing it, and we'll be live for Race 5 as well to see if we at least survive that first leg for the Pick 6. But that huge carryover starts with Race 5. What we're going to do as soon as Race 4 ends here, we'll go through and give out our, race by race who we like, and we're going to build a little group ticket here. And if you're watching us live, thanks for joining us. Let us know in the chat what you think. Who do you like in certain spots? Who do you like in this spot? Do you think we're crazy, or do you think there's a horse that we absolutely need to add at a price? This pit thing is what? This is the third straight carryover, Mike, that they've had for Keeneland. I mean, this is great. What are we? I missed it. Was it 869,000 or something like that?
Yep, 869,000, $1 pick six here, 15% takeout. So a very good bet to fire into, even on a random day where there's no carryover. But when you have $869,000 sitting in that pool, it's just a phenomenal option to play in here. I mean, you'd essentially need what, almost 10 million? No, about 7 million in the pool to be playing for a break even. So the fact that essentially you're playing no takeout today, the pick six sequence, it seems hittable, but a couple different difficult legs. Makes it a worthwhile bet, even if you're just going to fire like $24 into this and just hope you just nail it. The value on this specific sequence is extremely high.
Aaron, how deep do you think people should end up going, like realistically? I know it's based on different people's budget, but for that pick six, what kind of budget should they be looking at to try and realistically hit it?
Well, it's a $1 wager, so that obviously makes that budget. You have to go up because you can't play it for 50 cents. Got to play it for $1. Usually in the pick fives, if I'm playing for 50 cents, $100 is the budget. So I would say about 158 for the pick six. It was 50 cents, but you just kind of have to do what you can, right? I mean, if your budget's $80, you just got to be a little bit skinnier in those legs and try to get through with your strong opinions. For me, I'm about $150 for this thing. Try to get through skinny on a couple of the opinions late that we'll talk about here in a second, and then use as many as you can that your budget allows in those races where you're not quite sure.
This is one of those great days to play group tickets, right? I mean, that's Aaron mentioned, especially with the dollar denomination. If you get 3 or 4 friends in, you each throw in $50, you can play a $200 ticket, you each throw in $75, you can play a $300 ticket. These are the type of days where I think there's a ton of value in doing that if you have friends that like horse racing, because it allows you to spread a little bit more and take a shot at a bigger payoff in these days where it's definitely worthwhile firing into a pool.
The bug definitely sent the 2. 2 is going to be a lot more forwardly placed than she's been in any of her previous tries. Well, okay, she tried. She's very clearly not fast early because she already dropped back.
Yeah, I think the 2 really the bug really wanted to get position on the 2, but couldn't get it. Yeah, now we're dropping anchor.
Yeah, no surprise here. Love makes the lead from the rail. I think that's what we kind of all expected there as a pace perspective. The 7 just sitting right outside and pressing. The 4 is in a wonderful spot, considering the 2 favorites are using a little bit up front.
Yeah, we'll see how fast they end up going. Love trying to kick away from the 7 a little bit. 7's a little closer than I thought. The horse would be. That's good, I think, though, for somebody who supports the 7 like me. So we'll see what the second fraction is here. 48. I mean, the 1 and 7 really don't have an excuse from here. You got a short stretch.
You'd expect this is a 2-horse race.
Mm-hmm.
I would like the 4 to stay in third here.
Well,
and the 2 seems to be asking and be done.
It
the
really
5-horse ranging up a little bit there.
Who's going to outkick who? It looks like the 1 is going to just cruise from here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been such an advantage being on the lead, and the 7 had to be 3 wide into that first turn.
Yeah, who's this? This is the 5's making a little bit of a move. Hard to think. The
5 probably gets second.
Yeah, the 1 is gone. Good effort.
1 to 2. That's how you want a 1 to 2 shot to look. She's pulling away very nicely in this stretch. Very nice professional move.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a monster effort. That was really good.
And tip of the cap to trainer Brendan Walsh. She debuted. She has 1 start. She debuted March 13th, 2022 at Gulfstream Park and was never really involved in that race. Walsh brings her back off of a 404-day layoff and finishes in a decent time, and she wasn't asked for a lot, but she, a good-looking filly, very extremely well-bred Medaglia d'Oro filly out of a Bernardini mare. So, if that's the only time that she wins, she still has a big future ahead of her in the breeding shed, because that is a wonderful combination of breeding for Godolphin.
I think if they stay healthy with this horse, that isn't going to be the only time she wins. That was a pretty good effort. She's a big, good-looking horse too. That was pretty solid because impressively. For the 1, I'm saying the 7 did run second. It's not like the 7 stopped. 7 kept going, was a clear second, so the 1 just dusted her.
All right, let's move on. As Chris Morales says, on to the main event. That looked good. That's all we care about here. She looked good. All right, fine. Moving on. The start of the pick 6 at Keeneland here. We talked about this race on Dudes Who Bet Daily earlier today. We're going to have a lot of older horses going 5.5 furlongs on the turf, an allowance race here. No click of the tote yet. It was tough to wait for that. But your your early favorite is going to be the 7 high front for Luis Saez at 3-1. Catamosto for Mark Cassidy, the 3 horse, 7-2 on the morning line. Plenty of ways to go. And if if you're not thinking this is chalky, you got your pick of the prices. Aaron, we'll start with you. Start off the pick 6, race 5. Who was your top pick?
Well, I did go with Catamoso, the 3 horse on top. I do think this horse is going to run pretty well today. Coming off of a layoff, but not that long of a layoff, 195 days, not like the last one we just saw, and not that even mattered. But I do like this 3 horse getting the class drop. That's the big thing. They brought this horse over from overseas. Aiden O'Brien did have this horse at one time. Mark Cassidy gets his hands on this colt. First race here in the United States, second, beaten 3 lengths, beaten by Big Invasion, a horse that's just very good and would be very tough in a race like this, obviously. Then last time out, tried the Woodford here at Keeneland, was just outclassed. I think the horse runs a lot better today. I think he's in a really good spot.
All right, so Aaron's going to start us off. His pick for the pick 6 ticket is going to be the 3 Catamosto. Mike, what about you? Where are you going to go for the ticket?
All right. Well, we're gonna try and have one horse in each leg. Is that the idea here? So we'll have 3 by 3 by 3, and we have a single later where I think we all agree on a horse who's in a decently tough race, but at least we all agree. So it helps shorten up the ticket in that sense. May go 2 deep, may go 4 deep in certain spots. Look, I agree with Aaron. I had Catamosto on top here, so I like him using that as the first pick. There's 2 other horses in here I'm interested in. I think Magic's going to take one of those 2, so I'm going to take the other one. I'm going to go to the rail with Detroit City, Gaffleon, and Jack Sisterson, 15-1 on the morning line. Michael Olson asking, what's this horse going to open up at around 8-1? Probably somewhere, go off between 6 and 8-1. I think 15-1 is a little bit of a pipe dream from a morning line perspective. The key for me to Detroit City is that you have multiple efforts in the back class that are good enough to win this. Now, not nearly as consistent as some of your top performers, but you've got probably, 3 or 4 turf efforts that you can see in there that I could point to and say, hey, those are good enough to be able to get the job done. We get Lasix back today. We get back on the turf today after running on synthetic last time. I think it's all systems go. It's going to have to work out a trip from the rail. That's going to be one of the big keys here, but you get Gaffley on board. So give me the 1 Detroit City.
All right, we're going to go 3 for Aaron, 1 for Mike. And yeah, if you watch YouTube Bet Daily, I like the 7 in here. High front, Luis Saez is going to ride for Jonathan Thomas. Horse was an extremely impressive debut winner sprinting 5 furlongs at Gulfstream Park in January of 2022. Went gate to wire and then tried a turf allowance there for going 5 furlongs. Did all right, finished 3rd. Improved second time versus winners, going 6 furlongs on the inner turf at Belmont. And I thought that's the race that you can point to and say, if this horse is going to beat this field, that's the kind of effort you need, where the horse was 5 lengths back early and was able to get up to miss by half a length to a talented horse, and yes. Stakes try back in to end the 3-year-old season there at Belmont in the Paradise Creek. 7 furlongs might not have been the game he wanted to go. Big Invasion, nobody was stopping Big Invasion at that point in the year, so no shame losing to that horse, but kind of faded off late. Tells me 7 furlongs was probably too long for him. We haven't seen the horse since then, but it was a vet scratch in March 19th at Gulfstream Park. So Jonathan Thomas, that tells me, has had this horse in training and has been trying to get the horse into a race. Just couldn't quite make it there last month, but the fact that we passed the test for the vets to get to Keeneland to be in this spot, I like that a lot. I love Luis Saez riding for this horse. The one concern I have, and maybe you guys can touch on this quickly before we move on, pace-wise, does it look like a pace collapse up front? Because that's kind of what this horse will need, I think, to get the job done, Aaron.
It should, right? There's a lot of speed in the race. You would think there's going to be collapse. The only thing I would kind of pause on, when you're running 5.5 on the turf, it always looks like it's going to collapse. Sometimes it just doesn't, because you know what? You're running 5.5 on the turf, and the fastest horse out of the gate sometimes will go out there and just dominate. So you got to be a little bit careful. If you get a setup like this, going a mile and a 16th, whatever, mile and 1/8, whatever, yeah, they're going to come back to you. Here, I don't know. So that'd be the kind of the worry there. I do think Magic, though, you look at the race 3 back for high front, going 5 furlongs there at Gulfstream. He was kind of up there. He was okay. Even the race 2 back, he was kind of up there. Just last time out, he just kind of was sluggish in that one. But I think he'll be able to get some kind of position here. But I would not count on just all of them hitting a wall up front.
Well, I would also look at the fact that Saez comes back aboard. Rode this horse the first 2 starts of its career, went gate to wire, and then sat only a length behind a fast pace at Gulfstream in that second start. So I think the return of Saez makes a difference here for High Front, and I would expect he's going to be in the first flight, not make the lead, but be right behind the leaders. So I'm not worried about High Front from a trip perspective. One horse that's getting mentioned in the chat quite a bit that I am worried from a trip perspective is the 4-horse Gregory's Pride here, who's going to be further back for D'Amato and Pratt. This one needs the pace collapse, right, Aaron?
Yeah, I would think so. This is one, when you look at those past performances, you just don't see a race that you seem like, oh, he'll get good position, right? So he is going to need the pace collapse. He's running second off the layoff, and, he's getting Pratt aboard today. So there's things to like about him. You can't play them all. That's how I'll answer that one. Listen, if it was my personal ticket, he'd probably be on there. But, this is a group ticket, right? So you just got to, none of us picked them. You can't play them all. Go on to the next one. Hope you get by without using him.
And if someone does pass, they get a wild card pick to add to another race. This would be a race I wouldn't be shocked if we get an add to.
Yep, I agree.
Let's move on. The next race, race 2, the second leg of this pick 6 at Keeneland. We got a field of 7 starter allowance horses, 3 and up, going 6.5 furlongs on the dirt. These are non-winners of non-winners of one other than, and also started for a claiming price of $50K or less. We started with Aaron first time. Mike, we'll go to you. Who is going to be your pick for this ticket for race 6?
Well, this is a race where I think we can go pretty short. This one to me is a 2-deep race. I like the 4-horse Appeal Denied on top. I thought that last race at Fairgrounds was phenomenal. Ended up running second to Button Boy, who came back to win off of that effort. There's a logical jump up from a buyer perspective, runs a 93 in that race. But to me, you have a 5-month layoff and first out as a 4-year-old, so I can make a pretty good case as to why that buyer came back so high. You also have a mid-80s buyer in the 3-year-old year as well. So for me, the 4-horse Appeal Denied is the horse to beat here.
Mike going with the 4, Appeal Denied. Tyler Gaffalione aboard. See if he can get another big win like he did just now in race 4. Aaron, I'll throw to you to see if you and I agree on the other horse to put on this ticket. What do you want to do?
Yeah, it makes sense what he did with the 4 there. I can't argue anything there. I like the 1, Morning Cup. I think that's the other one to use. I agree with what Somich said. I think this is a very logical race. I think these are the 2 logical horses to use. Look, this horse gets back to sprinting, gets Irad aboard. I think we'll run a much improved race from what we saw last time out. Probably get back to that race 2 or 3 back. That's good enough to get it done. But can he beat the 4? I'm not quite sure. So I like the 1.
That's the horse I was going to use. Should hopefully be the early leader. Got that nice rail draw there as well. The other one I looked at for a little bit was the 5, Supremely at 8-1. Second start against winners after breaking the maiden 2 back at Fairgrounds. I think we'll sit just behind the 1. It's a question of whether the horse is good enough to both catch the 1 and catch the 1 and keep the 4 behind him. So we'll go ahead. We'll use the free pass on this one. We'll just go 1-4. A little chalky, but that's all right. As long as we've got the winner, that's all that matters. Race 7, we'll move on here. We're going to stay on the dirt. We've got 3-year-old maidens, 3-year-old maiden fillies going 6.5 furlongs. Couple of scratches, short prices. The 1 Copper Girl is 4-1. The 2 Truly Grateful is 9-2. So these odds are going to get very screwy here. Aaron, I'll throw back to you. Who's going to be your top pick for this one?
Oh boy. Yeah, this is where we get a little weird, right? Like last race was like, okay, yeah, here we go. We'll just blah, 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 and then you get to this race and it's like, shit. This is where it gets a little bit complicated. Look, anytime you've got a race like this in the sequence, you get a little scared because you got first-time starters that could kind of be landmines, right? Could kind of come up and go, uh-oh, that horse is loaded. And also, the opening odds could tell you that too, right? It's like, oh no, here's a first-time starter that is 12-1 or 10-1, and oh, first click's 3-1. Great, that horse might be loaded. I'm talking around in circles here, trying to stall, so I'll just go ahead and do it. Look, I like the 6 Sassy Walker on top. This is one of those first-time starters that I kind of mentioned here. We've talked about D'Amato, how good he's doing here at Keeneland. Flavian Pratt gets aboard here for D'Amato. That's always a very good combination. This horse has solid workouts. I don't really care about workouts day in and day out. You guys know that. But when it's a first-time starter, that's a data point you have to look at it, because what else are you going to look at here? Horse is very well bred to go this distance. I think a mile or less. The horse looks really good. I don't think this horse is going to be 10-1.
No.
I think 6 Sassy Walker is the most logical of the first-time starters after the scratches. So I do like the 6 on top.
Yeah, I was a little frustrated with the scratch of the 2. I had Truly Grateful with my top pick in this race, so kind of bummed that one's out of here. I have Sassy Walker as a must-use, so I agree with you on that front. I think that anything D'Amato sends out right now, you got to at least respect. We talked about why we didn't use the 4 in the first leg. We'll see if it ends up getting added on the ticket later. I'm going to go with the 5 Magical Loot here. Ian Wilkes, Brian Hernandez Jr. This is one that I think has a lot of upside after those first 2 races. I like the time off. We're coming back here. Both of those races I thought were pretty good. They went pretty fast up front in that early mile race. I think that was just a little bit too long for Magical Loot. But if you go back to the 6 furlong race, this horse was closing against a horse just like Magic, ends up running second on that day, gets bet off the board. But like I said, I think that mile was a little bit too long for Magical Loot. I like the cut back to 6 furlongs. Looks pretty good off the layoff. You get Brian Hernandez Jr. up. I like the 8-1 price. I think this one's going to get a little bit ignored on the board as well. So I'll take the 5 Magical Loot.
So we're going to a couple prices here. The 6 for Aaron at 10-1, the 5 for Mike at 8-1. Again, these prices are going to come way down because of the scratch of the 1 and the 2. I'm going to go a little shorter price. I'll take the 8 Check Engine Light 9-2. Luis Saez riding for Jorge Abreu. 2 races back, going a mile at Aqueduct on fast dirt. Almost broke the maiden, just missed by a nose, but was attending the pace. I think because it was just a 5-horse field, she was a little closer early on than what she tends to like to be. Likes to sit a little farther back, but probably sit about 4th or 5th, and she didn't get that chance if she wanted to win the day. Just missed by a nose, showed a lot of fight in the stretch there. I'm going to scratch off the last out when she tried the Busher Stakes as a maiden in the mud at Aqueduct. That's a Kentucky Oaks prep race. So now we're taking a big class drop here after not really factoring much into that race. I think this is a much more sensible spot. I love the breeding. Uncle Mo filly out of a Giants Causeway mare. I think all systems could be go for this horse. And again, I love that Luis Saez is going to be picking up the mount on this horse. Either of you have a strong opinion one way or the other on the 8?
Ooh.
Not strong. I mean, the 8 and the 9 were the other 2 I looked at here. The 8 makes sense to me. I'm a little worried. Like, to me, I like playing these type of horses when they jump up into stakes company and then they drop back down into maiden company. I'm just not sure how good that Aqueduct race was 2 back. That was my biggest concern. And this horse is not going to be on the lead, where the last couple races been more forwardly placed in longer races. And so the 9 was a little above the 8 for me, but these 2 were very close in my mind.
Aaron, anything?
I was back and forth. Right here, what I just saw the comment. The 8 would be like the last one on type for me, because the horse does have the races that make you go, yeah, run your best, you're going to win. But man, I don't know. It's had some chances and just hasn't been able to get it done. So it's that back and forth on the 8. I don't know. That's the type of horse in a race like this I hate, because.
So,
go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say that I was back and forth between the 8 and the 9. And if you like the 9 at all, or if you're trying to help decide, she lost to twice, and both times the Unsung Melody. Mike and I both made Unsung Melody our top pick in the second leg of the late pick 5 tomorrow at Keeneland. So I'm thinking, as we talk this out, maybe we should drop the 8 and add the 9, because you're right, Mike, that she's got, I think, the better horses she was losing to. Sheeta Booty was absolutely nowhere to be found in her last race.
You also have to look at Punch Bowl, the horse that beat her too. That's a horse that some said was better than Wet Paint going into that race there at Keeneland. Obviously a good horse. So, yeah.
Let's switch it.
We'll
switch it. I'll add the 9 instead of the 8.
All right, we'll go with the 9. Again, you have a wild card at some point as well, Magic, since we only went 2 deep last time. So we'll see what the quick ticket price is, and if you want to add that somewhere.
The biggest kind of scare is Luis Saez is getting aboard, and he is riding extremely well.
Yeah, he's lights out right now.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll find out in a little bit if that was the right pick or not. By the way, sound off in the comments if you think one way or another we should do. We'll move on. Race 8. This is also going to be the second leg of the Keeneland Turf Pick 3. We've got a field of, it's going to be stretched down to 9, going a mile and a 16th on the turf. Allowance horses, older horses that have never won 3 times other than. So, Mike, I'll start with you in this race. Where are you going to go for race 8?
I think this is going to be our single. I think Aaron and I agree on a top pick here, who we talked about. I think it's his best bet of the day. So I'll let him kind of kick it off here with your best bet here, Aaron. But we're both on the 2 fastest flight.
Yeah, I really like Fastest Flight in this spot here. Getting back to the allowance ranks, which 2 races back was able to dominate at this level. 4 races back, won at Churchill Downs at this level. Even at Gulfstream, 3 races back was a good second. I think the horse draws inside of all the other speed. I think she is the fastest horse in this race. I think she just takes some gate to wire here. The only one I'm really worried about is the one coming in from Europe. But I think this is a logical horse here. I don't think it's the one everybody's going to single, so I like that too, because I think people are going to single the next leg, and maybe we can spread and beat everybody's single in that one. I like the 2 Fastest Flight. I think this horse is going to run pretty big in the spot.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mike.
I was just say the last race, specifically the Honey Fox, one that we talked about quite a bit last weekend because of White Frost running in the Jenny Wiley. That race was phenomenal. It's come back well. To me, that's a key race at this point, and so I'm willing to go with Fastest Flight here. Magic, if we didn't single here, who else would we be using?
I would use the one, and she looked good overseas in Europe. Her former trainer was one Aaron and I love, Gur Lyons. She was first-time blinkers last time out, and it was on synthetic, but she was able to get a really big win. She and the 3 actually faced each other in a Group 3 at the Curra last August. With Via Reggio, the 3-horse, getting the win. Juncture, the 1-horse, finishing third. But it's a Juddmonte homebred that they sent over and gave to Brad Cox, and that's a big concern to me. But it's first time North America. She's breaking from the rail. She's not a fast horse overall, it seems like. So I think this is a good time to take a chance against her. But, it's a filly that in 9 lifetime starts, the only time she missed the board was a giant Group 1 at Newmarket, the 1,000 Guineas last May. So she's got a lot of talent. She's the one that worries me, but I know Aaron made this his best bet. I remember it now. I forgot when I started talking about this race, so I'm good with singling the 2 here.
Yeah, I thought the one was the more interesting Euro of the 2 of them, the 1 and the 3, even though Walsh's numbers are better first-time North America than Brad Cox's are. To me, the 2 horses, I left the Euros off my personal ticket. To me, the 2 horses I thought you had to look at were the 4, Justify My Love, and the 6, Bipartisanship. Lobo's been sending out horses that are live in this meet, so the 4 makes sense to me, especially since the 4 should sit right behind the pace and get a really good trip in a race that doesn't feature a ton of pace. And then Bipartisanship, we talked about Saez and how well he's riding. You're getting 10-1 on that 6-horse right now. This is going to be first off of a pretty decent layoff, first out as a 5-year-old. Coming out of the Frango, I thought was a pretty good race. Queen Goddess won that race. Quattrell ran third, who's come back and run very well, was steadied early in that race as well. And then 2-back was facing Regal Glory in the Matriarch. So it'll definitely a class drop here for the 6 Bipartisanship.
I took my eyes off the live feed for 1 second. I looked back, and it's a downpour. That rain just came. And it seemed like it surprised everybody because the way they were all reacting to it. So we'll move on here. We got 2 races left and 13 minutes to post for the start of this Pick 6. Race 9, the feature race of Friday at Keeneland. The Grade 3 Doubledogdare. We've got a field now of just 6 older fillies and mares going a mile and a 16th. Quick run to that first turn. Small field. Aaron, who's your top pick?
Yeah, this one, listen, Somich is going to argue with me, but I do think the number 4 Interstate Daydream is the horse to beat coming in here. She is my top pick. She's got a race under her belt this year. It was a good third against 2 horses, Secret Oath and Clairiere, who came back to run 1-2 in the Apple Blossom. Now, there were only 4 horses in that race, so it's not like that was a huge accomplishment, but they're clearly the 2 best, if not 2 of the 3 best older filly and mares in the country. So Interstate Daydream ran okay against them, only got beat a couple of lengths. I think that race under her belt gives her a little bit of an edge over her main rival today, who I'm sure Mike Somich will talk about right now.
I'm actually going to let Magic go next because I want 3rd pick in this race.
Okay.
I'm going to take the 2 Green Up after what we just saw with race 4. We saw a race 4 at Keeneland. We saw the winner Loved, and Green Up beat Loved in Love's debut by 9 1/4 lengths. Green Up won that race by almost 7 lengths. We do have a long layoff to worry about here. We haven't seen her in a while, but it's also, you've got to love it, that it's Irad, that it's Todd Pletcher, and she does have a win over Interstate Daydream dating back to I think it was the Catherine Sophia Stakes at Parks last year. So I will take the 2. I think she'll sit right behind the 4, and it would be a question of that layoff was enough and if the 4 gets softened up by anything. But it's a small field. I want somebody who's going to be close. If it's not the 4, I kind of want the 2. Who's your 3rd pick, Mike?
So I was hoping it would be 4 and 2 taken so I could take my 3rd pick here. I have the 2 on top. I think Green Up is not the better horse than Interstate Daydream, but at the prices and considering where it'll bet, I think I would rather single the 2 than the 4 here in a pick 6 ticket if I'm trying to go short, to be contrarian, and also because I think that they should be about the same price, not 3-1 and 6-5. Give me the 3 horse, Frost Point. Bill Mott sending this horse down from New York. Flavian Pratt picking up the mount. Back-to-back wins up there. This is a 5-year-old that just keeps getting better. You just look at the races, every single one taking slight step forward, slight step forward, slight step forward, has tactical speed, has the ability to pass horses, doesn't have any issues with the distance here, has run, hit the board at 1 1/8 twice, has won a 1 16th race at Laurel, ran second in a 1 16th race at Churchill, has a second over this specific track here at Keeneland. Interesting spot for Bill Mott to put this horse. I think 12-1 is a good number here, and this is how you can kind of blow up these pick sixes. If you can get a horse like this home in a field like this, where a lot of people are going 1 or 2 deep, and not many people are going to be using the 3. So give me the 3 Frost Point.
Aaron, you did the preview for us for RacingDudes.com and on the YouTube channel. Where did you put Frost Point among this field?
I think underneath is what I thought of Frost Point. I don't know that this horse is a win contender in my opinion. I really like Green Up, the 2 horse, a lot, but Frost Point was not one I considered to put on top. Again, I think I put the horse 3rd, actually, now that I think about it, and I think I did say play underneath in this race. It is a horse that should fire a pretty big effort. I'm just not sure she's quite as good as those top 2 horses in this spot. So, yeah, I did put her 3rd. I played it 4 over 2-3 if you're going to play an exacta. So, but again, I do like Green Up. I do prefer Green Up over Frost Point here. But it's a situation, if you were going to put this horse on the ticket, if we went short enough other places, it does make sense because this is probably one that's not going to get used by a ton of people.
Yeah, this is going to be a big trifecta bet for me, too. I'm going to have a 2-4-3 cold try here
Okay.
because I like the 2 Green Up at the price, and I think the 3 is the best of the rest. And I think the 3 could win the race, but I think 2-4-3 is a very logical try that will pay decent here.
All right, we're through 5. We've got 1 leg left. We're going to try and end both the pick 6. And if you're playing the turf pick 3, we've got this one as well. A field of 11 3-year-old colts and geldings going 1 1/8 on the turf. And I've let everybody else go first every other time. Give me the 10 Read On as my pick in here. 8-1 morning line. If we get every bit of that, I think it's going to be awesome. A huge reason is because Dale Roman's... No, I'm just kidding. It's because this horse, to me, on paper, has a huge pace advantage. According to Timeform, has a 31-point advantage over the next horse in, which is the 2 Ocean Point. I'm going to take the 10 Read On as my pick for this one. Mike, what about you?
Good pick. The 10 has to be on tickets just because of the speed perspective. I don't love the horse from a talent perspective, but clearly has a pace edge in this race. Let's go up on the odds board here. I'm going to go with a horse that's not going to go off at the price that it's listed at. Give me the 4 Two-Way Crossing, 12-1. Atfield and Saez taking this horse. That race at specifically Gulfstream last time was not as bad as it looks on paper. That was a day where closers actually were effective closing, which is rare at Gulfstream there. This horse was close to a pace, broke out of the 7 post that day. Web Slinger, a horse who went into Stakes Company after that race, has run pretty well. I'm willing to take a shot here with a bigger price at 12-1. I also expect this horse to be more involved early. That, to me, is one of the keys here. You mentioned the 10's load speed. The 2 horse has the next highest Timeform rating early. Saez on this 4 is going to have him forwardly placed. I think Two-Way Crossing is a sneaky chance at winning this race. 12-1 morning line. My guess is we get closer to 7-1 when they actually break from the gate. But I'll go with Two-Way Crossing as the second horse for us.
Aaron, there's a lot of love in the chat for the 5 Battle of Normandy, the 2-1 favorite. Are you going to make that the choice for you on this ticket?
Yeah, I think I'm going to. I was there the day this horse broke its maiden. Unfortunately, that's its only win, and so that is the downside of it for sure. But I thought this horse would be very good. I thought he ran very good in the with anticipation next time out. He just got beat by a horse that kind of freaked that day, right? But he still kind of did what I thought he would do. 2 races back to Pilgrim, yielding. Not worried about that. Breeders' Cup Juvenile, I thought he ran well. I did. And I just think now we're in an allowance. We're kind of hitting the reset button. We're kind of running in this race, projecting, okay, we're going to have a decent season with him. We're going to target some of these big 3-year-old races, but we got to get him going. And getting Irad aboard, I thought was a really good sign. I hate that you guys have put, 2 kind of I wouldn't say weird horses, but two bigger priced horses on here, and now I'm going with the chalk. But he just makes a ton of sense to me. And I mean, if you're at this point in this pick 6 and you get beat by this horse, you're not going to feel great about it. So yeah, give me the 5.
Yeah, I had 5 on top, so don't disagree with it. I was 5, 4, 10, and then I had the 1 Mooncat, who would be the other horse I would consider adding here in this race. I don't know if you guys looked at Mooncat at all, but Chris Davis every now and then pops with horses like this. I thought came out of some pretty good races down at Gulfstream as well. Now coming in here, going to be a little pace dependent, but adding blinkers is a little interesting move here. We'll see what happens there. But that was the only other horse I really even considered in this race. Magic, do you consider anyone else outside of the 5, the 4, and the 10?
No, I think actually you guys hit on both of all the ones that I liked. I kind of looked at the 9 a bit, Our Dream Ride for Ian Wilkes and Joel Rosario, but as far as like trying to keep this down to, I tried to just have 3 horses max that I would have, and we've hit on all of them actually. Battle of Normandy, you talked about that being a good race in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. He was a length off of 3rd. Like the top 2 horses were Aiden O'Brien and Charlie Appleby, and they demolished that field. Battle of Normandy was right there with everybody else behind them and showing good fight. And I remember too that day when he broke his maiden at Saratoga. So, all right, we have 5 minutes to post. Got a free pass in here. Let's go back to the turf sprint. See if you guys agree with me, both Aaron and Mike and everybody in the chat. We'll go back to race 5. Should we add the 4 Gregory's Pride, Pratt Diamato, 4-1? The horse is getting actually now 7-2 on the live feed.
To me, it's the 4 or the 13. I think those are the 2 that you have to look at. The 13, Wesley Ward, who drew in 5-1 right now on the line. The 4, the other one who's interesting, Gregory's Pride at 7-2. Right now, the ticket is $162, so split it into 3 ways. Still rather affordable there, $54 each. If we added 1 horse here, it would go to $216. Is it worth the extra $54 here to add either the 4 or the 13?
I listen, it's dumb to say, but I don't think this 13, I know Ward is really winning at an alarming rate. If it's anybody, it's the 4 to me.
Do we want to add the 4?
Let's add the 4. You also have the 3. The 13 is stepping up from facing maidens at Turfway Park on the synthetic and first time turf. The breeding set should handle it by Mendelssohn, but with the 4, you at least know what the horse is able to do and has been knocking heads with a lot of good horses out in California. The fact that the horse was a nose and a neck away from winning 2 different allowance levels at this condition at Del Mar, which is, I think, the most comparable you could have to a Keeneland thing. Also broke the maiden at Del Mar. I think that if you're going to add a horse, it's got to be the 4 instead of the 13.
Okay, other question. Would you rather add the 4 here or the 8 in the maiden race in leg 3? Because that was the other one that we were back and forth on.
I think the ad's here, honestly.
Okay.
If it's me.
Oh, check engine light? Yeah. Yeah, I would do the 4.
I think in that maiden race, you just gotta get through it. You gotta roll with your stronger opinions there, and you gotta hope to just get through it. This race, at least from my standpoint, you guys might be different. I think this is tenuous here. This is I'm not going to be like, if the 4 wins, I'm going to be like, well, that's not surprising, right? Where those maidens, it's like, if there's a good horse in that maiden race that pops, they're going to beat those horses that have run already.
All right, Mike, have you been keeping track? I haven't actually been writing down what we were taking. I just was writing down what I have. Do you want to read it out, and I'll put it up in a banner right here?
Sure. All right, we are going to play $1 pick 6 here. And we played, hold on, let me refresh so I get the bet correct. So I actually bet it. All right. Wagering. Loading. All right, so we played 1, 3, 4, 7 with 1, 4, with 5, 6, 9, with 2, with 2, 3, 4, with 4, 5, 10.
4, 5, 10. All right, and what was the total ticket cost for that one?
$216.
$216. All right.
So we're in
Put
for
it up here on the
72 apiece. If you guys want to look in the private chat as well, I threw up options for you for how much action you want on this puppy.
6, 9.
All right.
6, 9.
I like
we have 2.7 or 2.8 basically million into the total pool, which is kind of wild when you think about it. Obviously, this thing's going to go up quite a bit here before they actually break from the gate. But with an $869,000 takeout, there's only $2 million in new money. At 15% takeout, that's only $300,000 that's coming out from a takeout perspective. So you still have $500,000+ here with 1 minute to post that is sitting in there as bonus money.
Shadi missed us when we were talking about the Double Dog Dare. We did not really mention Hidden Connection other than we didn't use her. For me, this is a filly that looks like she still hasn't progressed from when she was a 2-year-old, and I thought she would win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and that didn't go too well. She was also in a 4-horse field against Echo Zula, so it didn't really work out for her favorites. Any comments on Hidden Connection, Aaron?
Not for me. No, that horse isn't for me. Never has been for me. Not going to be for me today. But if you want to go ahead, I think I had her in like 4th, but not for me as far as playing on a ticket like this.
I am seeing a very interesting connection here with the horses Shadi likes. You got Barbara Road, who never liked to win, got a W. Now you got Hidden Connection here, trying to get a W for the first time in a while. I was a big Hidden Connection fan back in 2021. I have since rescinded my my fan club card from Hidden Connection.
I met her owner breeders at Breeders' Cup that year, and when she was a 2-year-old. Very nice people. Wish them all the best. Just don't wish that they're the reason we get knocked out. By the way, Shadi, if you knock us out of this pick 6 because you liked Hidden Connection, we didn't, may have to put you in a YouTube timeout for a while. You might just go on timeout. All right, 14's loading in. Is this going to be the last one for us? I believe so. Yeah, foliage goes in.
Here we go. And the 3's going to get the lead.
Yep, 3-7 up there early. Not happy where the 1 is. Do not want to be in last there.
Didn't break all that quickly either.
I don't know how fast they're going, but it looks like the 3 is not going that fast at all.
Looks really comfortable.
I mean, that's pretty.
They're going
21
fast,
and 1,
but it's a comfortable fast.
Yeah, 4 made a nice little move to get in position here.
Yeah, I think the 4 might be a good ad here coming up the rail.
Yep. This 3 should be able to kick on with this, though. I mean,
unless Sai is on the 7. The 6 has got a nice move here. Just better hope the 6 doesn't. The 6 doesn't sustain. 4's coming. 7's going to take the lead.
Wow.
7 or 4. 7 or 4.
I think 4's going to beat him.
7 or 4. 7 or 4. Ah! Ah!
4.
4. Oh, the 4 at the last second got there. Oh, nice ad.
Very good.
Whew.
I can't believe the 3 quit like that.
That was brutal. I mean,
Yeah.
the 3 just stopped.
Wow. Well, we're already 1 for 1 and making good decisions.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's
5-1, a nice way to start the pick 6 too. Or was it 7-2?
5-2. 4 got bet down to 5-2.
Wow, 4 got hammered.
Yeah.
Yep. Credit to you, Mike. You've been saying it for, you said it on the Magic Mike show yesterday, too, that Phil D'Amato is just doing superbly. He's now, that's going to make him 4 for 8 at Keeneland, I think, right now, within the last year. And I don't know if he's actually saddled a loser at Keeneland. I haven't been paying that close attention.
By the way, folks, Papa Dude hat draw now 2 for 2.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Fear the hat, man. Fear the hat.
I thought about I was going to steal that gimmick from him, and then I saw he actually had the hat ready, but I actually had the cowboy hat. I just had pieces of paper that said 69 in it that I was just going to draw one of them, and they were all going to say 69.
It was just that easy, Magic. Just single the hat draw.
It's just that simple. Never loses. It's literally undefeated.
That's incredible.
It was a group decision. I mean, I had the free pass, but I did say I opened it up between those ones. So I thought as a group we made the right choice there, especially because the 7 was my pick in this race, and if we lost by a nose to start this off, that would not have felt good. But it's okay. We're good. We survived the first leg.
Yeah, we are rolling. That's the first time that horse has won since August 27, 2021. Breaking its maiden with Joe Bravo up at Del Mar.
Wow.
Found his friends.
Wow.
Found
Found his friends. Speaking of friends, this group of friends, we're gonna take off here. Enjoy the rest of the pick six sequence. If you want to see how we do the rest of the day, or you want to know what we're playing, here's the ticket right here. Take a look. But thank you to everybody who joined. Real quick before we get out of here, not to jinx us, which leg with the next 5 remaining are each of you kind of not to say the most nervous about? That you're like, if there's one that knocks us out, maybe it's this leg, Aaron.
I would say I'm nervous about the second leg, and then the third leg, and then the fourth, and then the fifth, and then the sixth. So
Mike, be a little more helpful than that.
right now, currently, I'm worried about the next leg, and
Yeah,
then
the
I'll
third-
be worried about the next leg.
the third leg for me. I mean, I like the single. I would spread a little bit more in a pick 5, but I like that single for a pick 6. The third leg to me, the maiden special weight, where like Aaron said it well, if one of those first time stars just pop, and that's that, and we don't have it, and so that would be the one where I'd be the most concerned.
Yep, that's what I said too. Watch out for that. What I would say is watch out for that one there. Yeah, good luck to everybody if you're playing. We'll be back. I don't know if we'll do something live tomorrow. We'll find out. This kind of came together at the last second. If there's a quadruple carryover, you can bet your ass we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully there isn't, because we ended up cashing this. We start off with a 5-2 winner. Probably lightens the likelihood of another carryover. But good luck to everybody. Good job to Aaron and Mike. And we will see everybody next time we show up live. Yeah, bye. RacingDudes.com is your home for the best free picks for every race, every track across the country. We're ramping up for the 2023 Kentucky Derby, and we want you to join us in the fun. Subscribe to Racing Dudes YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you never miss a single video. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.